Hey guys, it's 242 here, and today I'm going to read you 3 stories from the subreddit Am I the Butthole? So sit back, relax, and enjoy the stories. So the first story is, Am I the butthole for demanding my brother gives me thousands of pounds for the next few years after he crashed into my car when he was having a seizure? I, a 19 female, live with my parents. My older brother, 25, moved in back at the beginning of this current event. My brother is an alcoholic and he has epilepsy. His doctors have told him he should not drink at all, as alcohol will trigger his seizures because of the medication. I'm not sure of the specifics, but basically he is not supposed to drink. When he takes his medication properly and doesn't drink, he rarely has seizures and can always sense them coming. And because of this, he is allowed to drive. Nobody advises that he does drive though. I live in the UK and I passed my driving test last December. I bought myself a little car with my student loan and I insured it on my own. My insurance is 1.5k a year, the car was 1k, and my income for the year is 7k as I'm at uni and I only have a student loan. I pay my parents rent, around 1k for the year. My brother recently went to the store for my family shop. The store is about a 5-minute drive from our house. Nobody is happy about him driving for the family shop, but my car is too small to carry all the shopping. My parents don't drive. When my brother came back from the store, he had a seizure as he was coming down our street, and he swerved into the back of my car. I was absolutely furious. Not only had he caused a lot of expensive damage to my car, also I'm a new driver. When I report this to my insurance, it will make my insurance costs for the next year absolutely skyrocket, and I probably won't be able to afford it. My parents were also mad at him, as he admitted he felt that he would have a seizure soon when he was at the store, but he thought he would be able to manage the 5-minute drive home. It also came out that he had consumed 6 bottles of cider last night. To me, this is disgusting. He absolutely knew the risk. I demand he pays for the damages at least, and he should also have to pay the difference between what my insurance should be for the next year and what it is, until my insurance is manageable. I will use a comparison site to figure out what my insurance should be for the next year if I had no claims, versus what it will be after my claim. And I expect him to pay the difference. My parents think I'm being ridiculous because my brother doesn't work and is on benefits, but I don't care, because I worked so hard to get and insure my own car, which he damaged after knowingly increasing the risk of seizure dramatically. Am I the butthole? Edit, just to let you guys know who aren't from the UK, if you get into an accident that is not your fault, your insurance will probably go up. Even if you're not at fault, it will increase even more if you are at fault. But any accident will increase your premiums, especially when you're a new driver. And here are the comments down below. Pure Cup says, not the butthole. I can't believe some of you are trying to give the brother any sort of slack on this. The dude literally chose to drink a buttload, which ups his chances of having seizures. He literally brings more seizures on himself due to his own choices. On top of that, he felt a seizure coming and he chose to drive. Would you all be so gung-ho about cutting him some slack if you ran over someone due to his seizure rather than hitting OP's car? I would hope not. Balekin 2019, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, not the butthole. He did multiple things here to put himself as responsible. First off, if he felt one coming on, he should not have been driving, just as if he felt like he would be passing out. He chose to drive knowing it was coming, which is not safe. Second, he drank, which he knows is a trigger, and still drove when the risk is unnecessarily high. If it was out of the blue and he didn't drink, that would be different, as he can't control that. He chose actions that increased the risk and caused the accident, which would have likely not happened otherwise. He should pay. And that's all the comments I'm going to read. The rest is all about insurance. I don't believe OP is the butthole in this situation. I definitely believe that the brother is at fault. So leave me a comment down below on what you guys think. Remember, if you guys are enjoying the video, to hit that like button, to subscribe, and to also hit the little bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. Now let's continue on with the stories. So our next story is, would I be the butthole if I potentially humiliate my mom next time she tells a specific embarrassing story about me? Let me preface this by saying that while this story might paint my mom in a bad light, she did have flaws, but was also very supportive and a good mom. I'm 24 now. My mom loves to tell embarrassing stories from my childhood to people. I don't mind most of them, but there is one in particular that really makes me angry every time she tells it because of the backstory, which is as follows. I was probably 12 or 13 and near puberty. My mom was always very open about the changes I would soon be experiencing, and bought me everything I needed for when the day came. I was nervous about it, but not really embarrassed. My mom had a shower with a clear glass door that I would use because it was a lot nicer than mine. One day she was in the shower and her phone rings, and it's her boyfriend. He was nice, and at that point I had met him a few times and liked him. From the shower she says go ahead and answer and say hello. As I go to answer the phone, it stops ringing, so I unlock it and it opens the screen of text messages with her and her boyfriend. The most recent text is her saying that she had seen me getting out of the shower, and due to the development of some hair in that region, she thinks I'll be getting my period soon. And she ends it with, ugh, not ready for that. I was effing humiliated that she would discuss that with anyone, let alone her boyfriend, who I had met only a few times. Her boyfriend did end up becoming my stepdad, and he is a good man, so I don't want to paint this in a super creepy manner. I think she was just venting? I don't know, but regardless, it was effed up in my opinion. I don't know if it's normal for parents to talk about their kids like that to people. My stepdad does have children, 2 girls, 1 boy. One of the girls is in the same age range as me. After this, I became very secretive, and eventually when I did get my first period, I hid it for as long as I could, just because I was embarrassed and didn't want her to tell anyone. She ended up finding out I got it about 3 months after and flipped her shit that I hid it from her. But she didn't know why because I never told her I saw the text messages about me. Now, for whatever reason, she thinks it's a funny story to tell people. She told my boyfriend, now fiancé, and I ended up telling him the story behind it afterwards, and he was shocked. I'm not embarrassed by my period and puberty now, obviously, but it hurts every time she mentions the story. Would I be the butthole if next time she says it, no matter who is around, I say, well, maybe if I wouldn't have caught you texting your boyfriend about me getting my pubes for the first time, I wouldn't be so humiliated. I think this will really make her upset, but I also feel like it needs to be said. Also, let me know if I overreacted about what she was texting. ETA, when she goes into the story, I would usually just keep my mouth shut and try to change the subject. The most recent time, I told her as she was beginning that I didn't want her telling the story again. And when she continued, I told her to stop. And she continued. However, I have never sat her down and told her the details mentioned in my post. Seems the best course of action is, like most of you suggested, to just have a conversation with her one-on-one. Maybe I was feeling a little bitter and just wanted to embarrass her, like she has me time and time again. Point is, I love my mom regardless of her flaws, and handling it this way would do nothing but cause hurt and more anger. Thanks, everyone. I personally think that the conversation's the better route to go. She would have been the butthole if she had done what she was planning to do. But let's see what the comments say. Paul Lord says, not the butthole, but I would say it would be better to bring it up in a more direct fashion without the bystanders. Say, I really don't like when you tell that story, and it hurts every time you do. The reason is because of why I was hiding it, and then explain the story. That way neither of you are humiliated, but your mother does not continue to hurt you by telling it. Milky Ways, I think it's how you pronounce it, you will be the butthole if you do this without first telling her how you feel. I'm sorry that your mom did that to you, and I can understand from experience how embarrassing it must feel for you. But she obviously doesn't realize the extent to which she is affecting you. To purposely humiliate her without first having a talk with her to get her to understand why she is embarrassing you would be a butthole move and pretty childish. You are 24 just as I am, so we're both old enough to realize this. Remember to leave a comment down below on what you think for this story. And our last story is, am I the butthole for not giving my husband's mistress some of my dead husband's last paycheck? Buckle up, guys. This is going to be a bumpy ride straight out of a soap opera. My husband worked in the oil industry, and it took him overseas, often to a foreign country that allowed men to marry multiple women in prevalent regions of the country. And apparently that's what he decided to do, but of course he neglected to tell me. So when someone anonymously sent me an email telling me to look at a Facebook profile, what do I see? My husband with another woman. Of course he denied it, but come on, there was freaking pictures. Told him I wanted a divorce while he was still overseas, so I packed up our rental house, threw his shit away, and moved, leaving no forward address. Then the bastard up and died on me before divorce was final. And he hadn't collected the last of his paycheck from the company he was working for, so I emailed them, and that's when they told me the money would be split between me and the mistress. I of course said no, that every penny was mine as his legal widow, and I expected them to give me every penny owed to my husband. They then told me they had already given the mistress some of the money. I told them that they were just SOL. Yes, I was a little more diplomatic than that, and I expected every penny to be sent to my address. In the meantime, before they had done anything, the mistress contacted me via Facebook to harass me. She asked me for money. She told me my husband didn't even love me, just a barrage of insults. I blocked her. Finally, the company got back to me and sent me all the money, even the money they had given the mistress. Apparently, they made her give the money back because I started receiving messages from the mistress' teenage daughter that they needed the money and that I took it from them. She told me they were going to be homeless. I didn't budge. I didn't give them any money. This is in a country that rent averages about $200 a month, so taking back several grand is a huge deal. But I also feel no obligation to that woman or her child. So Reddit community, am I the butthole? To this day, I'm not sure who sent me that email. My husband said it was another woman with whom he was having an affair with because she was mad he dumped her for this mistress. I did warn you all this was going to sound like a soap opera. I don't think OP is the butthole in this situation, but if you disagree with me, or agree with me, tell me with a comment down below. But now let's see what the comments down below say. Rin1101 says, I'm leaning towards not the butthole because you don't owe his mistress anything, or her teenage child. How do you even prove official mistress status? Did your husband specify what he wanted in his will? My dog's his kid says, not the butthole. It's legally yours, and the fact that his company would support this affair baffles me. Can't really believe this is true. And with that, we're at the end of our video. Thank you guys for listening to 242 Reads. Please remember to like and subscribe. And have a very good evening or day. Take care, guys.